Good morning. Happy Sunday. We're all together again. Isn't it great? All right. So to start us off, we're going to light our chalice together to center us and begin our service. If you'll join with me, please. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
And as the chalice is lit, let's take this time to calm our hearts, calm our minds, and begin to focus on our fellowship here today. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Good morning, everybody. I'm Beth Reinders, and I'd like to welcome you all to this wonderful, dried up a little bit Sunday. Once again, standing before you, I'm reminded of what a privilege it is to be together in this place. As Charlie always tells us, this is a unique community where love is shared generously and genuinely. And we're always pleased to invite visitors to join us in our good fortune. And so to those of you who may be here visiting us for the first or second time, we extend a special welcome. And we're delighted to have you with us. And if it feels agreeable to you, we invite you to stand, tell us your name and where you've come from. And later after the service, when we share the UU Communion of Coffee, I can assure you that you'll meet someone who is a neighbor, was a neighbor, or will become a neighbor. So is there anybody to my right, your left, who is with us for first or second time? If you'd be willing to stand. Anybody in the center? And anybody on the left, my right? Right, my left? Okay. I'd like to draw your attention to several items, most of which are listed in your weekly newsletter. And as always, I encourage everybody to regularly check the newsletter. First of all, we'd like to extend thanks to Gary and Brian Cuovo, who just yesterday did some massive paint touch-ups to bring back all of the pristine aspect here in the sanctuary and the hallway. And we pledge to them a promise that we're going to be very careful in the future with where we move furniture and chairs. As noted in the newsletter, the cookbook is well on its way to completion. And so we encourage you to start your holiday gift list now to determine just how many dozens of copies you would like to buy. Those two ladies that just applauded, that's who you talk to. Mary Ann Sinelli or Linda Clayman. I also want to give you a wonderful reminder about a wonderful new service that will be provided by the Finance Committee on the last Sunday of every month, which for us will be next Sunday. Someone from Finance will be available to meet with you after the service in the Clara Barton room. This is a good way to keep track of your pledge activity and to help the church stay current with donations. We very much thank Finance for their assistance on this, and we thank you for your attention to this matter. That was a joke. And on Wednesday, September the 3rd at 6 o'clock, we will resume our fan favorite movie night. The film that was selected this time is The Penguin Lessons. You can stream it in advance for free on Netflix or for a charge on Prime or Apple TV. On the 3rd, bring a dish to share, your own beverage, and all your thoughts about this really delightful film. Guests are always welcome and encouraged. There's a sign-up sheet in the lobby if you would like to join us. We also have received a thank you, very lovely thank you note from the Sandalwood Food Pantry, acknowledging all the generosity that all of you have shown in the offerings that you have given to them. And please note, finally, that next week our dear friend Clint Tawes will be with us again. It's always a joy to have Clint here, and so we hope that you'll all join us then. And now, Charlie, if you would, please share us with the opening words.
Thank you, Beth. And just a little bit of housekeeping before I go too much further. Skip Minchie is celebrating an anniversary of his 21st birthday. And so Skip, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Skip. Happy birthday to you.
Barbara, thank you for bringing him with you. I am Charlie Tyler. I'm the pastoral minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Low Country. It's my privilege to be here. This morning, I'm going to allow you to be able to have an answer to the question, how do you know when you're in a UU congregation? You know you're in a UU congregation when the pastor asks you to take out your devices and turn them on. Because I'm going to ask you to do some Google searches for me later on as I begin to step into the message. And so during this time, I'm also going to ask if you don't have a device and you have somebody that you don't, or you have somebody close to you that won't mind you leaning over your shoulder, kind of adjust yourself for that because it's very helpful. There's some images that I want you to see that I can't figure out a better way right now to be able to get them to you rather than you find them yourself. So that's what we'll be doing later on. I have been focused on scales. The weighing of a soul, the weighing of justice, and how we implement it and put it to work in our own lives. And what difference does it make, and what is it about in our own hearts and in our own lives as we look at those scales of justice and our own moral integrity. So those are the things that I want to draw our attention to later. And if you would please keep your devices out on silent, if you would please. And we'll be back to that in a moment. Now I'm going to ask you, if you would please, to take your hymnals into your hands. Turn with me, if you will, to hymn number 361. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Thank you for your continued support of both Bluffton Self-Help and Sandalwood Food Pantry. As we were reminded, there's some wonderful, generous donations on the back table, and if you brought them, please get them there over the next week or so. And then also, we need to share it with our abundance, so get out your checkbooks and support our mission here at the UUCL. Very important. And at this time, we are going to take our offering. And since there are no guests, no one gets to pass the plate today. Thank you for your generosity.
Now is the time where we share hearsay, innuendo, and gossip. No, wait a minute, that may be another TV show. We share our joys and concerns. We share our joys to multiply them, and we share our concerns to realize that we are in a supportive community. So if you have a joy and or concern, please come forward, take a rock from the basket, and place it in the cairn. I knew that word. When you're done.
Hi, I'm Rosemary. You all know Susan Crow, right? She was a member here, has moved to Columbia. Well, last weekend I went to visit Susan. The reason was that we were going to see the purple martins. Does anyone know about the purple martins in Columbia? Good, I can tell you then. Well, first of all, there's a 50,000 acre lake, Lake Murray in Columbia, beautiful lake. And there is a little 12-acre island called Baum Island, which used to be an Air Force training site in World War II. Well, for the last 45 years, every summer, up to 800,000 purple martins have come and descended upon Baum Island for 2 months. They party and eat and have a good time, and they get real fat so they can continue their journey to Brazil. Well, from June to the end of August is usually when they're there. I've seen them before many years ago, and we saw them again. It was wonderful. We had a small boat of 6 people, and just to see all those birds. Only one person got bombed, and it was right on her pants, But, they're all flying over. It was a wonderful sight to see. This is called roosting. It's pre-migratory roost is what it is, so they can just get all healthy before they take on their trip. And we did, while I was in Columbia, go to the it's a Unitarian church in Columbia twice. And this is not an announcement, but it's a promotion. October 4th will be the Scooja, the 3rd Fall Festival, and in Columbia. So if you want a chance to go to Columbia and see the church there and participate with Scooja, we're going to try to get about 10 people to go to Scooja Fall Festival this year. Columbia is a great city. I also went to the zoo. And I hardly ever go to Columbia. This is a great city to go to. They've really cleaned it up a lot since my son was in college there. So, great day trip. Thanks.
Chicago's next.
Good morning, my name is Kathy, and I just wanted to tell you I got a beautiful thank you note also from Plumpton Self-Help to all of you who replied to the ESL, English as a Second Language, to tutor. They were very, very grateful. So to those of you who responded, thank you very much. And I'm going to start calling you justice warriors. That's what we are.
Basket care, basket care. Good morning, I'm Dave, and it just feels wonderful to be back home at 110 Melfresh Road. It just feels great to be back. I've been away, I've got a spiffy new knee, but to top all that off, Kathy and I have our 4th grade child. She was born August 8th in Michigan. She has lots of hair. She was 9+ pounds, and of course, beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always used to my husband be sitting right next to me, holding me back from talking. But he's home, and and he would never miss this. In all the years I took the kids to Sunday school and I sat in church alone. He only took part on special occasions, but this place he never misses. But he has some issues which comes with age, and then all of a sudden he got shingles. I know, the poor and baby, and he is a poor baby. He says, I hate looking in the mirror always because of all these things that they do to my face, but this is ridiculous. So needless to say, I just want you to think about him, okay? And he is going to get better, because my surgery is scheduled in about, I don't know, 2.5 weeks or something, and you know this is the 3rd round of trying to get this surgery done. But I know he'll be better by then. Thank you.
It's at the right place. Good morning. I'm Tish, and I have a concern. Found out yesterday that my son has to have a cardiac cath. Apparently, the doctor is not particularly concerned. He's having a little bit of discomfort. He's got a couple of stents, which he has had for a number of years now, so I'm probably more concerned than he is. It's on, and they've scheduled it for not for another week, so that tells me that they're not majorly concerned about it, or they'd take him right in. So just wanted to get some support for him. Thank you.
So for those of you who know me, I'm David. I'm your congregational administrator, and you know this one over here, right? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so this is Ellen here. And if you're unaware, some of you are aware, but if you're unaware, over the last 2 months, we've had a lot of twists and turns in our lives. And so we have a little story to tell you, and Ellen's going to share that.
So, we've been waiting for the past few months and not looking forward to this day, the day that we share with all of you the news that we have been carrying in our hearts. Many of you have noticed that David and I have lost a lot of weight, and I've been biking and trying to eat differently. However, David has not been doing these things. He's been losing weight anyway. Also, David has had a cough for about a year. We've gone to several doctors, and they've tried everything. Cough syrups, inhalers, prednisone. Finally, his pulmonologist suggested he have a PET scan. The results of that showed that David has a mass in his kidney. He was diagnosed with renal cell carcinoma, and that was devastating news for us. If that was the whole picture, then we would be looking at taking out the kidney and getting rid of the cancer and moving on. However, the PET scan also showed nodules in his lungs and in his thyroid. Not knowing whether they were connected or not took more time, more tests, more money, and lots of stress while we lived in that not knowing period of time. So we waited, and before we told anyone, since we knew you would ask questions and we didn't have answers, we didn't want you to live in that stressful place where we lived. Well, we have answers now. After many more tests, they have discovered that the nodules in the lungs are in fact connected to the cancer in the kidney. That cancer has metastasized, which means it has spread to the lungs. They needed this information so they could make a plan of attack. So at this point, We've decided to go with immunotherapy, which is highly recommended by David's cancer doctor. They are in the process of working with the insurance company as we speak, and once that gets figured out, we will start. Every 3 weeks, David will receive the medicine intravenously, 4 times of this, and 3 weeks in between. Then they go to a CAT scan, which will show if the cancer is shrinking, which is what we're all hoping for. And during that time,
So every week, what we've done is we've signed up for something called the Caring. Okay, a lot of you know it. So,
this is why I'm reading. And so the Caring Bridge, there's a sign up out there. And if you are interested in following our journey, sign up. And it's just an email that comes to you. And then you can read where we're at and what we're doing.
no, you get a link I try to write something up every week, and you get a link. Stop that. And so, okay, go ahead.
Okay. You see why I'm talking. So now comes the part where many of you will say, what can I do?
Hold on. There's one more thing to say. So, if you sign up for the Caring Bridge, how many have ever been on the Caring Bridge? Oh my goodness. Okay. So you know when you sign up on the Caring Bridge, there are a lot of links on there that say, donate now, donate now, donate. Well, the thing is, you're donating to the Caring Bridge to keep the Caring Bridge open. We don't see any of that money.
Just so you know.
Okay? So if you think, oh, I want to donate and give David and Ellen some money, let's go through the Caring Bridge and give it. We don't see any of that money. So just want to make sure you realize that. You're not required, if you get on the Caring Bridge, to donate anything. Okay? So I'm going to let Ellen finish that.
Okay, so this is the part where you're all saying, oh, well, what can we do? And that's what people say to us when they hear. And I wish we had the perfect answer. Most people hug us and they tell us how they're here for us and they're sorry that we find ourselves in the situation we're in, and then they say, what can I do? I never thought that I would wish that David was 65. If he was 65, then he'd be on Medicare. Maybe the bills would be smaller. Every time we turn around, there's a copay coming our way, and the stress from watching our retirement fund dwindle right in front of our eyes is terrible. So here's what you can do. If you win the lottery, share it with us. But right now, we're just asking one day at a time. We're taking this journey, and although we are stressed and we're so sad about what is happening, we're trying to keep it positive because that's who we are. That's who David and I are. So we still try to keep smiling. We tell jokes. We still pull pranks on each other. There is a purple cat that moves around our house. I don't know how. The other day, David came into the room and he said,
knock, knock.
Who's there?
Cancer.
Cancer who?
Cancer, see that I'm not feeling well?
We know you're here for us. Keep sending us love and positive thoughts.
This will be out on the table over there.
We love you, David.
We love you.
I'll take 2 stones from the cairn for those joys and concerns that have not been shared, and 1 stone for the children and families who have been affected by gun violence. And now if you'll take your hymnals in your hand and turn to affirmation 694. I'll give you half an hour to get there. And join with me, please. May the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us, now and always.
So David and Sarah, I'm going to ask whether we can gather ourselves around you. We are a community that cares and hurts with you as much as it rests inside of us. We've never done this before, as far as I know, and if you're willing, David, I'd like to ask you to stand here in front of the pulpit, and those of you who know David well will gather around him now, just to be able to gather together, if you would please.
I've been here before with this, the congregation here has been so supportive, and we really have, I don't know if I can get through with it. And now I'm cancer free, so it can be done, David. You can do it. You can do it.
And I'm on immunotherapy every 3 weeks also, so we'll be doing it together.
If we can, let's weave our hearts together for just one moment. I'd ask now that Ellen feels the presence of this community down deep in their souls in ways that are unique and special for this moment, that you would fill them with compassion and with hope and with heart. Walk with them, we ask, in love's name. Amen. Amen. So over a little over a month ago, Kathy Zeiser gave me reason to not preach this message. And now David and Sarah has given me another reason not to preach this message. I'm not entirely sure whether this message will ever get preached or spoken to. But I know that we're on a journey here together. And we're on a journey with David and Ellen, and we are also on our own journey back into our community. One of the things that I have come to see so clearly in my work in my hospice world is how absolutely critical the community is. We cannot do this by ourselves. Those that do suffer deeply. And there's a part of which that we share our lives with the Inseras and with all of you here who are on similar journeys. And please let us know if that's where you are too, that we might gather our hearts. This is not a healing service for David. This is a building up time for David and Ellen. And I would ask that we would be able to find that hope inside ourselves. However, I kind of would like to finish this. Are you all good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Those of you who have already taken out your devices, if you would please take them out now. And I'm going to ask you to Google the words Lady Justice in Wikipedia. Lady Justice in Wikipedia. You will be given an image. Once you find it and you have it in front of you, just kind of hold your phone up so that I know that you're being successful with that. All right, very good. If those folks who are holding their phones up, if you would like to get close to them, if they will let you get close to them, perhaps you might be able to see those images too. Feel free to just move around. As we Unitarians are deeply in touch with issues of justice and injustice in our world, I find the scales of Lady Justice, and I find the way in which her elements are held out to us to find balance in our world of justice and injustice. Most of this image of Lady Justice appears in courtrooms, courts of law. I discovered throughout our world, Lady Justice is found just about everywhere. The image that you may be looking at is actually from Hong Kong. So we find out that there is a truth in that. Those of you that have the image in front of you, those of you that don't want to go back and look later on, you'll see that Lady Justice is wearing something around her eyes to keep her blind, holding the scale, usually in her right arm, right hand, and a two-edged sword. And all those pictures point to the difficulty and the hard work of finding justice in our world. And most of us look at that and think to ourselves, right on, absolutely, it should be this way, and may Lady Justice be blind and use her just swift sword until it's us. So hold that thought for just a moment. The goddess Justitia, I think I'm pronouncing that right. There's probably lawyers in the room who would like to argue with me. If you would please stay for talkback and fix anything that I break today. But this is the Roman goddess of justice, and it has been taken through our court systems and into our legal world for the last 2,000 years or more. We can find the statues of the lady in the Supreme Court of our United States. You can also find her in the courthouse in Calhoun County, where I used to live. She too is on that courthouse. So that's a part of what I've been thinking about, are the scales and how we find and bring it back to justice in our world, and how do we find ourselves at play in that justice as well too. Now I want you to Google this word. I'm going to spell it for you. A-N-U-B-I-S. A-N-U-B-I-S. Again, use Wikipedia in your search.
Say it again.
Different, yes. Has everybody gotten to it, or are we still waiting? Just hold your phone up if you're there.
Say it again.
A-N-U-B as in boy, I-S. Anibus. Everybody got it yet? Still looking? Okay. Who all's got it? Raise your hand. Excellent. Those of you that don't have a phone, find some of those folks that just stuck their hand up. Please feel free. Anubis is the Greek, is the Egyptian god of funerary rites. Usually is a human form with a dog's head holding what? What does the god hold? Scales. This is 5,000 years old. And so I'm intrigued by scales and the way that they have worked their way into our understanding as human beings, almost right out from the Neolithic age. And one of the things that I find most significant and different about this is that Anubis is the god that determines that your heart is right to enter that better place for the Egyptian mind, which was the dead, rather than being soulless and wandering in nothingness. Anubis would weigh the heart against a feather. And here's how it would work in the Egyptian mindset. The human heart, as it does those things that are significant and valuable and different in their world, that heart becomes lighter as the deeds are done, as a moral life is lived, as goodness and kindness is taken into that heart. And then at that day, after death, that heart is weighed against apparently an ostrich feather. And if it's balanced, you're welcome in. If it's not balanced, darn. So that causes me to ask certain questions. I ask questions about Lady Justice, and I would also ask questions about this. How's my heart? Where's my heart in this whole journey here? And to you, you would be wanting to ask the same question. Where's my heart? How's my heart in this? Is it light? Is it balanced? What is it? And how do we get there? And how do we avoid this judgment in our world? We are a people. We are a species who is very quick to create God in our own image, whatever your image of God is. Make that God in your own image, just like the human condition, just to make sure everybody gets it in the end. And that's not who we are. That's not who we are. That's not what we're about. That's not the way that we think or we want to think in our world. So, as Unitarians, we are deeply moved by injustice. And our values and our principles, as we all know, those of you who are guests and unfamiliar with our denomination, you may see some of those values on your bulletin. However, these are times where we should also, I believe, be very glad that Lady Justice is not standing over our lives with a two-edged sword and blind, and to inquire, if you will, about the way we value the significance and the purpose and the place of every human being. We're living in a world right now where it's very easy to see the problems in some other human being and speak to those problems and think to those problems. Even though we say these are our values, there is a comma except, and that's where neither one of us want to be under Lady Justice at this time. Because quite frankly, it's easy to do. I do it, you do it, hate it when it happens. Because we find ourselves othering the other in the same way that we are called not to. And I would ask that we be able to be careful and conscious about that in our own lives. Because this Lady Justice, when I looked at that and I realized, pass. I would die under her just judgment if I was left to that. The UU way is not for the weak. It seems to me hard and requiring discipline, in spite of the fact that we all come here without judgment, in spite of the fact that we come here into this place with a full understanding that we are accepted completely. That's what makes us different. That's what makes us whole. Knowing that when you walk through these doors, that's why you all are back here. Those of you who keep coming back, that's why you're back here. Because you know that the person sitting beside you is going to love you no matter what. And sometimes that love's going to be irritating. And sometimes it's the way we are together. So when we begin to look at these things, I'm aware of the fact that our lifestyle, those things that we believe, is not for the weak. It's not for the tenderhearted. The image of Anubis is one of the judging our hearts actions after we die. There is an odd sort of reverse weighing, as I said. Usually we try and have that heart that's full of good things that we've done. It's apparently the weight is otherwise in the Egyptian way of thinking. That the good deeds of the human heart make that heart lighter, and if done well, lighter than a feather. And as I asked before, so what of my heart? What of your heart? What of our hearts? Most of us are deeply troubled by the two parts of our own hearts. Let me say that again. Most of us are deeply troubled by the two parts of our own heart. I see those two parts in this way. We can talk about this more after the talk back. The two hearts are these: the injustices we clearly see and the inability to confront successfully those injustices. Our heart is divided between those two. We each turn away from any image of scales when we look at this. And this is where your UU faith shines. This is where you find something utterly unexpected and completely different in the way in which you live your life within this context. There are no scales to judge you. There are no scales to judge me. There are no scales. We are, in fact, accepted as we are unconditionally. That is a rare term that's used in any kind of context with the human spirit. But I would say that this is the strong part of who we are and where we are and what we believe and how we find ourselves in that context of being unconditionally accepted. Sometimes it's easy to think or speak harshly about those we consider opponents. And each of us are harder on yourselves than you are on your opponents. Each of us has inside our spirits a hardness of judgment, a hardness of accusation, a hardness of guilt as we look at our own lives, harder than we might give to someone else we may consider not a friend. And that's the task that we have in our own lives, of unconditionally accepting ourselves first in order to live in it, in its environment entirely. Are you a person that's, like me, more than willing to lay down before the blade of Lady Justice and invite my own punishment? Are you like that too? I am. I find myself constantly getting off of something that she wishes to stick me with. There is something wrong in us. There's something wrong in me when we are willing to self-flagellate ourselves inside our own hearts, inside our own minds. Because if that's there for you, guess what? It's there for the other. And this is where we break the cycle. This is where we look full into the value of who we are, into those truths that we hold dear inside our own thoughts, those principles, those values that carry us in our day-to-day dealing with each other and with ourselves. We must care for ourselves as we care for another, especially as we care for the other. So, this is not a message that's meant to make anyone feel guilty for what has been done or not done in your journey to be a transforming figure in social justice. That is not what this message is about. Please tell me that you hear that clearly. That's not what this message is about. Whatever cross you may see yourself on, come down. We have work to do. Whatever whipping post you feel you need to tie yourself to, untie the ropes. Let your spirit be healed. We have work to do. Whatever hammer you are, whatever hammer you are under, stand up from it. Get off that anvil. We serve no one there. We have work to do. A few weeks ago, I asked you to realize, to consider that just by living the lives you live, with the values that you hold as true and important in your lives, just by living out there, you make a difference. And by living in here, you make a difference. There are an overwhelming number of social ills that need addressing. We all know that. And we will believe ourselves failures if we don't address them all. I have good news for you. You are not failures. I am not a failure. We are not failures. We understand who we are and the world in which we live, and we intend to make that as good as we can in our world. Here in this place, we can accept each other without judgment. There are no scales here. Nobody gets weighed on the way into the sanctuary. Nobody's asked to stand on a scale. Oh, by the way, how many of you hate to stand on the scale? Yeah, me too. And I'm hoping that message is working its way deep inside your spirit, and it does. That freedom will change everything for you. That freedom being off of the cross, off of the whipping post, off of the anvil, that freedom changes everything about you. And perhaps this is a truth that you've known for a long time, but just needed to be reminded. Perhaps this is a truth that seems too good to be true. And perhaps this is a truth that you're only just now hearing. No matter where you are on that truth journey, you cannot start this journey and stay the same. You just can't. Walk with it and you will see. You'll wake up with it every morning. So, 3 questions. Are we ready to go together?
Yes.
Are we ready to go together?
Yes.
Are we ready to go? Tell me.
Yes.
Amen?
Amen.
Thank you. If I'm in the right place, it's time now to turn in our hymnals to hymn number 134. Our world is one world. If you're willing to stand, please stand, and may we sing together.
Touches one affects us.
In closing, we'd like to thank you, Charlie, for the love that you hold for all of us, for the wisdom, the thoughtfulness, and the support that you so generously share, and for your priceless gift of being able to touch our hearts and our minds, and how you give us each week that you speak, a gift that we can take with us as we move into our week ahead. And in many ways, we received that gift today. I'd like to extend thanks also to the many people who make Sundays possible by sharing their diverse talents and generous hearts to feed our souls with music, children's laughter, warm greetings, and a sense of safety, and all the delicious treats that we'll enjoy soon. David, we will be walking with you on this journey. We will never not be by your side. I hope that everybody can stay for the talk back. And now, Charlie, your final words.
We live by covenant. We make a covenant with each other to always be there, to stand beside each other. We make a covenant. The Sarah family offered us an example of how that covenant can be fulfilled and lived out. And in a weird way, I would say thank you for that gratitude of being able to show and be that covenant. And also the way that we covenant with each other to be able to hold each other safe and secure, because this is the acceptance that we give to each other and walk in on a daily basis. Hold those thoughts as true. Thank you very much.
This is the time that our service comes to a close. If you can stand if you're willing and able. Together we will extinguish the chalice. While we extinguish this flame, we'll still carry in our hearts the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment, until we are together on heaven.
Thinking about you and anything you guys need, I want to be there. Okay?
sorry to interrupt. I wasn't here for the prayer. I have two flat tires.
That was you there that was out?
Anyway, my heart's, I've known for a while, but my heart and thoughts and prayers have been with you. And that's all.